I tell you I'm a cheat or whatever, and you say I'm cool with that as long as you take care of home, and which I do. I take care of home. Make sure you're right physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually.
Welcome back to A Different Perspective. Y'all, we're about to check out this video of NLE Choppa talking about the relationship that he had with his girlfriend and how things kind of fell apart. Y'all ready? Let's go.
Best relationship I've ever had. She's the most loving, she's the sweetest, kindest person. So this video ain't to diss her. This video is for y'all to better understand what she's going through and what I'm going through. She showed me what loyalty was. She showed me women still cook. You know what I'm saying? She showed me true love, you know what I'm saying? And I'm mature enough to know to say that I wasn't ready for it. But within me saying I wasn't ready for it, not only am I telling y'all that, I always let her know that. I always let her know that from day one. So let me get into depth with just the timeline. First and foremost, I hit her, the first thing I told her was in her DM, I was like, keep your ring finger open for me. And I never even knew her, never even got the chance to speak to her. I just loved what I saw, you know what I'm saying, from the outside looking in, and I meant it. She was going through a breakup during the time, so it took her a while to text me back or whatever. But when she finally did, we used to just get on the phone and whatnot and just chop it up. And every time I talked to her, I always knew it was something she was hiding. And what she was hiding was her feelings.
One thing that you gotta respect when listening to this young man talk, because he ain't nothing but about 19 years old, is he's taking accountability for his actions. He knew that he wasn't ready for that ultimate, that serious commitment, that end-all be-all commitment. Then on top of that, he came in being respectful of who she is and the person she is by saying good things about her. He may be only 19, but he's a lot more mature than a lot of men that I know, double his age.
And so the saying that I've learned recently that resonated with the relationship that we had was to never catch a falling knife.
To never catch a falling knife. What does that mean?
And I feel like she caught one as well, because I was in the process of trying to heal from something myself.
Ooh, wait a minute. I think I understand now. Never catch a falling knife. Meaning when somebody is maybe not in the right headspace because they're just got out of a relationship, or maybe they're not in the right headspace because they're suffering from depression. Never catch a falling knife. Because what's going to happen, that thing is going to drop, it's going to fall on you.
It wasn't relationship-wise, but hers was a relationship thing, and I had my different journey I was trying to heal from, and I feel like we both took a pit stop. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we both stopped at the same gas station just to fill up.
So essentially what he's trying to get at is both of them were falling knives, and they picked one another up. Both of them should have been in a better mental state before trying to pursue anything. That's something I suggest everyone do. Get yourself right before putting yourself out there.
You know what I'm saying? To keep going with our journey. And once we stopped at that gas station, we got distracted from what we were trying to heal from, and we still had traumas, pain, things to do mentally to go within self to conquer, to fight.
This is really refreshing to hear a young man understand this stuff to this degree and be able to verbalize it.
Well, we could be prepared to jump in something new. I hope y'all understand that. So pretty much, she was coming off a breakup. I was coming off my own, you know what I'm saying, whatever, which is personal to me. I don't really want to share it, you know what I'm saying? So she was coming off a breakup. I was coming off what I was coming off of. But in a sense, I was still more healed than she was, because I just felt it was something, you know what I'm saying? I always felt it was something when I got on the phone with her or whatever. And one day she finally opened up to me and she cried, and it was like one of those cries to where it's a concerning cry. So I'm like, you know what? I said, this not a girl that you just say something to her, you say that, you and then you slowly kind of like drift away from her, because that's how I treated a lot of women during that time, because I wasn't ready for no relationship. I knew deep down I wasn't. So in this instance, I said, this girl don't need nobody to, this girl don't need nobody to mind. manipulate her. This girl needs somebody to really care for her. This girl needs a friend. And that was my intentions from the very beginning. My heart space from the beginning was to be a friend to her and help her through rough patch. She didn't know what to do.
I love the fact that he's so self-aware of who he was as a young man at that time, being somebody that wasn't ready for anything serious. But then he came across this woman who he knew and understood need more than just what he was used to dishing out.
As men, this is what we do when we know a woman won't move on. So it was like I was pretty much giving her game on what was really going on in her current situation. I'm like, as a male, we do this because we know y'all aren't strong enough to do this. So just letting her know like he's doing that because of this, or this is happening because of this. And I feel like a lot of men won't do that if they're trying to get something out of you. But me, I was just trying to be a friend and let her know where the manipulation was and where it wasn't. And in the sense, I could feel Marissa starting to gravitate more towards me as a partner, which was understandable because I'd be lying if I didn't say I guess leading her on in a sense.
He knew his position. He knew what she needed. He probably should have left her alone. But he's young. Even though he is as understanding as he is, he's still young. He's gonna make mistakes.
In the process of all of that happening, I was always honest with who I was as a person because I loved myself regardless of anything. I loved myself, so I didn't want to put myself in the same predicament I've already put myself in my past relationships. So it really wasn't leading on. It was just in the sense of just being a friend, and it started to.
It was a friend. Yeah, he was trying to be a friend, but he knew as a friend he wanted a little bit more action.
Feelings started to grow more than that from her, and
you heard that? He was very specific. He said feelings started to grow more from her,
which is understandable. And, you know what I'm saying? You can't knock her for it. So, in the process of her, I started to feel she grew feelings. I started to let her know who I was as a person. I said, listen here. I said, I know you started to grow feelings for me, but I want to let you know who I am as a person, first and foremost. I don't see myself at this time period with me being 19 years old, with me have not experienced my 20s and all this stuff. I do not see me being just loyal to you. And by loyal, I don't mean the real definition of loyalty. The real definition of loyalty is to have somebody back through whatever. That's what I find. That's what loyalty is to me. Some people value loyalty off if you cheat or if you don't cheat. But in the beginning, I told her, I said, yo, I'm a loyal individual. Can't sit here and lie to you and say, if I be with you, it's just gonna be you the only person I'm gonna have sex with, or you will be the only partner. And she took it in and she was like, yo, that's different. It's different. I appreciate your honesty. Nobody's ever been that honest and straight up with me. If we was to get together, we could work. I think I could work with that. All right, so boom. I'm like, okay, cool. So,
all right, now think about that for a second. She signed up for it, right? If what he's saying is true, she signed up for it. So at the end of the day, she can't be mad at him for doing exactly what he said he was going to do if she signed up for it.
In the process of this, I think I found my match for my present moment self. Because I don't know in the future, 10 years from now, 5, 6, 7 years from now, I may say, okay, I'm done. I don't want to experience sexual relations with this many people or this many people. I probably just want my personal, and that's it. But speaking of me, my present sense, I know who I was as a person, and that comes from loving myself and just knowing myself, and not trying to be a poison to another female. Because I feel like in my past, don't get me wrong, need to take accountability for what they did in the past, but I'm always take accountability for myself. So speaking on my behalf, I know I wasn't the best man, and that's because I was dishonest. I said, if I ever get in another situation, another relationship, I'm gonna be honest, because that's what lets you know what's wrong or right.
Pause. That was great right there. For him to say, look, you know what? I'm going to be honest moving forward. I'm going to go ahead and let these women know, hey, you're not going to be the only one. You're not going to be the only one. You're not the only one that I'm talking to. You're not the only one I'm dealing with. You're not the only one I'm dating. When you come into a situation with that degree of honesty and someone still decides to sign on and sign up for it, then when you move in the way that you've already told them that you're going to move, they become the ones in the wrong for getting upset. You do nothing wrong when you tell them what it is up front.
When it comes down to who's wrong or who's right, it always comes down on what was being truthful from the beginning, or what was being a lie, or what was a lie. Y'all know what I mean? It's hard to say it, but there was one thing I laid out there. I said I don't see myself just the same person for the rest of my life, and that's understandable for the age I'm at. I'm mature in a lot of areas, but I'd be a lie to say I'm mature in every aspect of life, because everybody can grow from somewhere. My mind is so knowledgeable, so mature, and so advanced. I feel like I'm 50. I don't get along with the average 19-year-old. I don't do what they do. I don't get along with my average peers. I always have with people older than me. I always talk to people older than me. I always been the youngest person on the block. You know what I'm saying? All my friends, whatever, all my niggas, whatever, was always 4 to 3 years older than me. I've always been the youngest in whatever I did, because I always felt I was older than what I was. I grew up quick. I was 12, I was in the dope. I had adult problems at 12. Thought I had a baby on the way at 13. Started doing stuff behind a gun at 14. Like, I grew up quick. So, but in some spaces I'm not maturing. I don't see myself having one wife. And that's another thing. Marissa, she was big on marriage. She was big on marriage, so I'm like, I had to let her know, like, I don't see myself having one wife. I said, I'll probably marry you, but you would have to, be cool with the simple fact that I believe in polygamy. So you may not be the only person that I will marry. You know what I'm saying? And I let her know that. And she was like, that's different. I feel like that's cool. I feel like that's something I can work on with being open to as well. So, hear me out. So this was pretty much the thing, and no disrespect.
I'm over here trying to picture Marissa responding to the things in the way that he's saying she responded. It seems as though it's a possibility that she was accepting of what it is that he was saying, only because in that moment she was really wanting to be with him, knowing damn well long term those are not things she would want. She wouldn't want him to be with other women. She wouldn't want him to marry other women alongside her. But in the moment, she loves this man. She's gonna take whatever she can because her emotions are too caught up with this man.
She felt she was gonna get married, which she probably is. She probably might find that person that is just gonna marry her. But this is pretty much her life. This was pretty much already thought out in her brain. She was gonna get married to somebody that was faithful for her, faithful just to her, build a whole family, and just live happily ever after. And I was telling her, it sounds a bit like a fairy tale because certain things don't always play in that type of sense, or the cards don't sometimes roll out that way, but it's not impossible. But I say, if you're looking from that, for me, my present moment, who I am as today, when I wake up today, you're not gonna find that in me. I let her know that several times, several occasions, and she was cool with it. And she said, well, she was with me in a sense of hope. I feel like she was with me in a sense of hope, and I grew out of it.
We see it too often, don't we? So many times these women will have these high expectations, these high hopes for what could be. Oh man, maybe I can change his mind. I think I'm that girl. I think I'm bad enough. I think I'm deserving. I think I'm worthy. Maybe I can change his mind. See, he's aware of all of this.
She was willing to do everything. Did she want to do it? Her mind and her heart wanted to do it. But her soul, that was not what her soul wanted.
What did I tell you? What he's saying exactly the same thing that I said, was that, yeah, deep down, she didn't want those things for herself. She was willing to accept it, to be with you for as long as she could, because she was really loving you.
And then, and in the sense of that, like, I felt wrong. That's why I left. That's why.
That was my assumption. I was wondering if he left her because he knew he wasn't the man she needed. I was wondering if that was the case. I didn't want to say nothing earlier. I had a whole spiel that I was going to give, but I'm going to let him continue.
That's why I had to distance myself. Because I'm not ready for that. That's the part of my life I'm not ready for. It's like we was in two different worlds. And it's like every day I had to bring her back into mine to let her know, like, hey, you told me this is what you wanted, this is what you signed up for. You gotta stick with it. If I tell you I'm a cheat or whatever, and you say I'm cool with that as long as you take care of home, and which I do. I take care of home. Make sure you're right physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually.
But that's the thing. A woman that knows ultimately what it is that she really wants and desires, you can't be taking care of her physically, emotionally, spiritually if you're giving her the opposite of what she truly wants, what her soul wants. Right? If you out there dibbling dabbling with other women, you're not all the way taking care of home. Because home is also where she lives up here.
But the littlest bit of peace where I want to do is where I do my dirt at. Because I let you know that, and you approved of it, you signed up for it, you said it was cool. And once I do it, I don't get the peace of mind to do it. I don't feel free, and I don't feel free to who I am as a person. And a lot of people would say, "Oh, you broke up with her, or you broke up with her because you wanted to." It's wrong. I mean, nah, and it doesn't even just stops right there. It's just a basic sense of freedom.
I'm already the joke of the day. I want to be honest. And people be like, he's young, you were stupid, all this shit. He was doing things that grown-ass men never did for me, never taught me. I experienced things that he was just so mature, and just because he was young, it doesn't mean that he didn't have the ability to do so. He did. He made me become so soft, so vulnerable, so submissive. He made me love more. He made me love so hard.
This is why I say age really don't matter. Age is just a number. I learned that from watching people that was close to me growing up. I saw folks 50 years old acting like they was 12. I'm like, yeah, nah.
Of everything that comes with that man, I cherish and worship everything that comes with it. But I want to be honest about this healing shit. It hurts. That's my best friend. That's really all I got, to be honest. But I can't be friends with somebody that I'm in love with. It's impossible for me. So I just said that I will take time from social media and really try to find myself again, because I am completely in shambles. This shit is hard for me. I love the hell out of that man, and I thank God for letting me experience something like that, because I've never experienced that kind of love before.
If you're looking at this from the perspective and lens that I'm looking at it, it's almost a beautiful thing. It's almost a beautiful thing, because neither one of them are talking bad upon the other person. They went through this experience together that they didn't really know was gonna unfold in the way that it did. He was honest and she gave him her heart. They were both able to grow together. It seems almost as if she did a bit more growing than he did, because he was already so mature to some degree as a 19, 18-year-old when they got together, but he was able to teach her some stuff. You hear how she's talking about how she learned things from him that she didn't learn from dating men that were older than her. You hear how she talks about how she became submissive in dealing with him. She became a more softer individual. You see how she's thanking God for the experience of being in this relationship with this man. When it comes to seeing these celebrity breakups on social media, this is one of the best, if not the best ones that I've ever seen, because there's so much maturity that you see happening between both former partners. Obviously, we're seeing the woman be a bit more emotional, then for the young man to get to the point, because he cares about this woman, get to the point where he's like, look, you deserve so much better than what it is that I have to offer you right now at this time in my life. I'd rather see you married to that man that can give you the end all be all, because you're that woman and you deserve it. He did that for himself, but most importantly, he did that for her. I'm clapping for both of them, honestly.
But he is an amazing man.
See how she continued to say good things about him, even though her heart is broken?
He's an amazing man. This was the best relationship I ever had in my life. Yeah.
And you know, part of the reason why she feels like this is the best relationship she's ever had is because he came in with the honesty. That's why I say, do what? Speak your truth. On the back of this shirt, big bold letters, it's A-OK. Honesty is always the best policy. Tell it like it is, and then they will see what it will be.
It wasn't toxic. It wasn't hurtful. It wasn't painful. It wasn't none of that. This is the only painful part for me, because
she said it wasn't toxic, it wasn't hurtful, it wasn't painful. I believe it.
I really have to separate from somebody that I never could imagine doing that.
What she's going through, what she's dealing with, this type of breakup where things really were pretty good in the relationship and things just come to an end, that's rare. That's rare that it happens, but when you experience the emotions of the relationship ending, a healthy relationship ending like this, oh, it hurts. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be hard for her to find that again. She's gonna search for that. She may search for that in another high-profile individual where she could be disappointed by. My suggestion to her would be to dial it back to somebody who isn't so high-profile, and maybe she'll be able to find that again, but those are rare individuals when they're high-profile like that. Ladies, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, no matter how bad, no matter how cold you think you are, when the man ain't ready, he ain't ready. And if he tell you that he ain't ready, accept what he's saying to be true and move accordingly. You might have to step back for your own sake. But if you're willing to stick around for however long you stick around for, just know that you could be potentially putting yourself in a situation to where somewhere down the line, you're gonna have a bag full of emotions. The bag may not be full in the beginning, but later on it will be. Anyway, y'all leave your thoughts, comments, and opinions down below, and I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. See ya.